Neil, I clicked the streaming button.
We're doing it?
We're live.
Great.
So
let me see if it popped up on my subs. Even more. Okay, 2 minutes ago. Cool. Yeah, that looks good.
Cool. So Neil and I are working on some more After Effects shots for an upcoming guaranteed video project. You were saying earlier I should put a moon back here. So I did. That's actually a picture of the moon I took.
Whoa.
It's this picture. And
good.
I was playing around with glow. The stock glow effect in After Effects is bad. It doesn't do the thing you want. Yeah.
I paid $50 for deep glow.
Oh, did you send me that? You did.
I sent you a link. Yeah. I think it's worth it.
But glow, it's constrained to the confines of the moon. It doesn't really do the thing you'd want a glow to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you might need to do like an adjustment layer.
Yeah, and do the glow that way.
Yep.
Let's try this. It's right now it probably looks real enough. Also, it shouldn't be back there. It should probably be outside the car, like over your shoulder, maybe. Like when we cut into a close-up of you, it's over there. But
it looks like it's below the horizon or something.
It is. It's like coming up over which doesn't make any sense.
The moon is on the land. The car is in the sky.
Yeah. All right. So maybe we put it, let's see. Thanks for joining us. Neil, can you see the chat?
I can. I'm going to pop it out right now so I can make it nice and big.
Maybe I just put the moon. I mean, it would have to be in the back seat, right? That's the problem. Or maybe when we show the establishing shot of the car in the sky, we'll throw it in there, right?
Right. It probably doesn't need to be exactly like perfect all the time, but
yeah. But this scene's almost done. But yeah, we have to motivate that light probably. I fiddled with the color on YouTube a little bit. Obviously, I made it blue. Mm-hmm. And then I did some, I got rid of all the leftover green spill, as you can see here. Really cheap way to do it. Like if you look in on all like the edge lights here, if you turn the desaturate green off, you can kind of see it around the edges, but whatever. Drew out some of the windows. The hardest part of the color grade of this is going to be the background because day for night is difficult. And
what about like terrible? I mean, there's like such a rich history of bad day for night, even in good movies, you know.
I was thinking that earlier when I was grabbing a coffee. I thought James Cameron is probably the best technical director in the history of cinema. And Terminator 2 has one of the worst day for night background plates I've ever seen. It's after they save Sarah and they're going, they're running away from the mental hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been up to today, Neil?
Just dealing with a young child, and that's mostly it. Eats up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Made a sandwich at one point.
I had a sandwich before we jumped on this call. What was your sandwich?
It was like sourdough bread, chicken and cheese, some pickles.
Speaking of pickles, did you know Stu Pickles is supposed to be 34 years old?
Yeah.
Bums me out.
About that. No, I think about that a lot, actually.
Homer Simpson started off that age, and then they aged him up to 40 over the course of the show.
I mean, even back then, that's kind of like older for young parents, like Stu Pickles, you know?
Yeah, and Tommy was the first kid.
Yep. So I wonder how long he'd been in the toy inventing business before he had Tommy.
I feel like the language of using masks for effects in After Effects is very, what's the word? It just doesn't. It's inconsistent. It's inconsistent.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not using it as an inside mask because that breaks too frequently. So I just make it an effect wide mask. You know,
how do you do that? Actually,
it's cool. All right, so it's not going to work right. So you're going to. So anyway, so you go in, you make your mask on the layer, right?
Yeah.
So mask 3 is just supposed to be this little box behind Ryan, right?
Right.
It's not supposed to, because that's where I'm trying to key, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into the effect, like say a key light.
Yep.
And you go to the bottom, and there's usually a little tab, compositing options. And you pick the mask you'd like to bound the key to. And you'll notice it works fine for mask 2, but when I go to mask 1, it doesn't do it.
Is that because mask 1 is add or subtract rather?
Oh, I was supposed to pick mask 3 anyway, so. It's still not doing it.
Make it none, not whatever you did.
But the other are on subtract. Yeah. But now it's affecting back here, and I don't want it to do that.
Oh. Okay,
it's a bad system.
Is there another wait? There's another way to like.
There it is. It's subtract and then invert. That did it.
Oh.
That's what I mean. It's inconsistent.
The same as
math.
add?
You'd think. Well, I don't know. It's inconsistent sometimes, is what I'm getting at. Yeah. But that's very handy. I've been doing a lot of that trick in this project. I probably don't need to go too far with that one behind Ryan. But
let's see what all the folks in the chat are talking about. They're talking about what they ate today. Grilled cheese.
I should talk about, ask if they've seen, we should ask if any of them have seen Ladybugs.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, chat. Have any of you seen the film?
Hey, fam.
1992's Ladybugs with Rodney fucking Dangerfield. I've never seen it, but Kevin sent me a clip of the ending, which is really funny on its own.
It's really funny. I'd stream it to the chat, but the last 2 times we've done this, Neil, I've streamed like a clip of something, and then immediately after live streaming, we get content ID'd for like, hey, you looked at 10 seconds from a commercial for a TV show that's trying to be promoted anyway. So content ID'd, even though we're not monetizing these streams. But yeah, the end, you were saying though, the ending is
it's pretty funny. Just it's funny because I hadn't seen anything in the movie, and the movie just like some character just says like, hey, you won, this is the good ending, you got the girl,
you got the job, you got the girl, worked out.
Just right off the bat, it feels like such a made up like fake ending to a movie. Yeah. And then because it's Rodney Dangerfield, he's like, oh, finally got some respect.
And then he freeze frames for the camera. And there's some choreography to the shot because, as Rodney says, I finally got some respect. There are some extras walking behind him.
Yep.
And Rodney has to like hold for like a good 2 seconds, trying not to move as they walk off camera. I guess it was the best take, but as he's holding there, the theme song kicks in and everything. Like he's still like kind of. It's like the end of an episode of Naked Gun, but for real.
Not only that, like I mean, the camera like really wiggles. Like it kind of like
it has to reframe around his height.
Yeah, but it's very awkward. Anyway, so my idea was just like it would be really funny if he like got shot right at the last second. And you did it, so thank you so much. It's up on the guaranteed video page if anyone wants to.
It's got 2 warnings about the violence.
That's good. I was like, I don't really want to like shock people. It's like not actually gory. It's like the fakest looking thing. But
I woke up the next morning almost like post hangover, like, oh God, what did I do? Like what? Why did we do that? And see,
it's still funny. You made his eyes
funny.
Get big.
That was your idea. Don't put that on me.
Well, you did it.
We make a lot. We did. We make a lot of jokes about a dead Rodney Dangerfield.
It's because you had that dream once.
Yeah.
Where he told you that he was dead.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like, he's a comedian that is funnier for having passed, right? Because he's so like old school in so many ways.
Yeah. Broke this somehow.
Oh.
Fix it. Just these masks are so yeah, I'd stream our own video from YouTube, but we'll probably get content ID'd if I do that. I mean, we didn't shoot Ladybugs. Ladybugs is a weird movie, man. I don't know if you've heard.
Worth a watch.
So do you know the plot?
He you know what? I watched a clip you sent me. I'm not gonna watch it, but
Rodney Dangerfield is trying to get a raise at work, and he's also trying to get married. And that's why he's trying to get the raise at work, is so he like feels enough self-esteem. And they actually do play him as unconfident right from the word go in a way that adds to the story. I'll give him that. But there's a reason that movie has like a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's rough.
Is it like the end of his good days?
It's hard to say because it was produced by someone who worked on The Godfather. I think that was he didn't make that many movies. He made like one with Joe Pesci. He made Back to School, and then he cameoed in a bunch of stuff. He said no to doing Caddyshack 2 at the 11th hour, and I think the word is that it cost him a lot of money for backing away from that. I think John Peters, the infamous producer, like kind of stuck screws to him.
I'm looking at his films now.
John Peters or Rodney?
Rodney. So after Ladybugs, which came out the year after Rover Dangerfield, which was like the zenith of Rodney mania.
There was another Harold Ramis joint, I think. Harold Ramis was like producing and like co-writing a lot of Rodney Dangerfield stuff at the time.
Interesting.
Love Harold Ramis. Definitely a hero of mine.
There's a movie from like 2000 where a much older Rodney Dangerfield. It's called My Five Wives.
I was gonna say it looks like something that like Playboy would have put out.
Yeah, or like I don't know, like if someone in another country saw this and like saw that man's face like covered in lipstick, they'd be like, "Wow, American comedy is the pits."
Yeah,
that's how bad it looks.
I've heard of it, but I never watched it. It's a shame that. Do you think he needed money towards the end?
I don't know. Oh, Jerry Stiller's in it too, and Andrew Dice Clay, Molly Shannon.
That's a bummer. That's all sad and for different reasons. Like he worked with Andrew Dice Clay. Jerry
Stiller was in a lot of good stuff till the end.
No. But I'm saying like specifically Andrew Dice Clay. That's a bit of a. Why did Rodney work with him? That must have been after. Did Harold Ramis work on that movie? That would be a real shame.
No. Directed by someone named Sidney J. Fury. Did The Entity in 1983.
Ooh. Is
that the one I'm thinking of?
With Barbara Hershey?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but
yeah, it's infamous. It's weird. I say weird when I think things are offensive. Offensive, but like hard to watch, which is why I said Ladybugs is weird.
Yeah.
So Ladybugs is about John Brandis, the late John Brandis, kid from Sidekicks. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Jonathan Brand.
He was in Sequest.
Yeah. Was he? Yeah. Child's Play 3. Is that? Or Neverending Story 2. Okay.
Yeah. He was in a bunch of stuff. And he plays Rodney's son-in-law. That looks a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be. This is the best thing, man. If you're doing chroma keying,
Yeah.
and you do mask based stuff like this within the same layer, you can just do like this shade of green, this, and this. It's helpful. Like it saves a lot of time. Like that looks
That
clean.
is, yeah. I've never like noticed that feature. Is that on every effect?
Every effect. It's very
heck?
handy. That's kind of why. See, this is why I have a 9 to 5 doing it, and you have property and a family, because you spend your time more wisely than I.
No, but I mean, like I've been using After Effects,
yeah,
like informally for like 15 years at this point. So it's like a shock to me because I would have just duplicated the layer and like done some really hacky stuff,
Yeah. So Jonathan Brandis plays the stepson of Rodney. Are you getting it, or is everybody getting it?
Everybody is. Well, a couple people. Let's see.
Sometimes I wonder if that's a bandwidth issue or like a system resources issue, because we are sending out, like, I am using like probably most of my video memory.
I'm gonna tune in for a second. That seems okay.
But his mother is thinking about marrying Rodney, and Rodney is played as a decent dude, which is interesting. In Ladybugs. Hold on. Look at how green you look, and look at how magenta Ryan looks here. Like this blue filter really,
it brings out the differences.
Yeah. Do you think it's worth fixing or no?
I'd save it. I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah, it's boring.
Ooh, Nature Tape says it's the anniversary of Computer Fighters today, dudes.
Really?
The upload, at least, maybe.
I remember.
15th.
I distinctly remember being at work and seeing that Polygon ran a story about Computer Fighters, and I got really choked up because Polygon's kind of a big deal. And Polygon's headline was, "Stop what you're doing and watch Computer Fighters right now."
That's pretty, yeah.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good feeling, because we spent too much time on Computer Fighters. Ming like cornered me once about it, like it was my fault.
What?
She's like, "When are you guys gonna finish this?" It was like that level of like,
right.
Like, you guys keep working on this. Like,
I'm sure she was just really excited for the movie to come out.
It was a little like, it's been 8 months. You guys need to finish this. She's right. I mean, I'm not saying she was wrong.
Luckily, we've never taken that long to finish a film ever again.
Oh, Jesus.
So anyway, Computer Fighters turned 5 today, if you go by the YouTube upload date. One of my favorite gags in Computer Fighters is where you edited a shooter game to look like Pac-Man, says Ellie Studios. I like that joke too.
Me too. We talk about Computer Fighters all the time. I hope people aren't getting it. I mean, we've made other stuff, and I'm very happy with Computer Fighters, obviously.
I'm wicked proud of it too. It's just like, I don't know, it's got like all the good stuff. It's got most everything we wanted it to have in it. Like,
yeah, and the problems it has. I mean, I'm always gonna look at anything we've made with a critical eye after the fact. Like, there are a few things we've done that I'm like, hole in one. Like,
yeah.
It's the. I mean, I think things like I think Year of the Snake is pretty perfect.
Yeah,
and I think Friend or Foe is like so emblematic of the genius of Ryan Murphy. It's like, I think when I think of that, I think of like, that's that guy. There's that guy I've known since I was 8 years old. Like, what a perfect Ryan joke. I'm sure you can see what I'm doing, right? I'm doing the thing you told me not to do.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna fix your arm.
Oh.
So it needs to be.
Yeah, it is kind of just, I guess so, yeah. It's kind of overlit too, I guess.
Yeah, the whole scene is. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
I've shown my daughter computer fighters. I covered her eye for a couple parts, but like the bloody head stomping scene.
Getting kicked in the face.
Yeah. But she like talks about Gunfoot now and stuff.
Oh,
it's really cute, and she like kind of treats us as characters, and she's always like excited, like, "Are you talking to Kevin? You know, like, are you watching the Kevin show? You know, stuff like that."
That's adorable. Should we tweet this, or should you tweet it, or what's our crowd looking like?
We got 36 people watching. I tweeted for like less than a minute, or like I retweeted and then unretweeted really quick.
Okay.
Last time, and I think we got up to like 100 people, so I could do that again.
I think as long as we have like people asking questions and stuff, I'll take 10 people. Honestly, I just
this is a nice amount. We got a little.
I'm not trying to become like a streaming person. Are you an admin in the chat?
How do I find out? I'll just block someone randomly. I don't know. I don't think I have any.
Write anything. That's the quickest way for some reason for me to. Oh wait, no. Here you are.
You got me?
Nope, I don't actually.
I just said hello. No one's gonna know why I did it until the video catches up.
No, you're a moderator. Yep.
Okay.
So I've done I've actually done all the comps from this scene. Like the big I guess you'd call like the pep talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna open up Premiere. You're seeing my desktop, right? Not the program. Okay, looks like it.
I see the program.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. You know, Rodney Dangerfield's pretty damn funny.
Is he? He is.
This is a deal.
Here's the thing about Rodney Dangerfield, though, is like he has some amazing jokes, like old school. I mean, you know, well, he has some like neat, like in an old way, jokes. But he could be saying anything, and he'd be pretty funny. I think that's his magic. He's just ridiculous.
Exhibit A. He is funny.
Yeah, he'd be talking about smoking crack with Joan Rivers, and it would be the funniest thing to three people.
I mean, you've seen Caddyshack. You and I don't really like Caddyshack, but he is so funny in that movie.
No, I actually have not seen Caddyshack all the way through. It's one of those bits and pieces movies for me.
Have you seen his like scenes from it?
One or two, I guess, probably.
So
I mostly remember like Bill Murray stuff.
So there's a scene in it where the whole point is he's supposed to be a rich guy that isn't a snob. And there's a scene where he walks in and he's like he's like at the pro shop and he's just being Rodney. And he had never acted in a movie before. And he was constantly like nervous on set, and Harold Ramis let him know that, no, you're killing it. Just people don't laugh on a movie set the way they do at a stand-up show. So Rodney comes in and they're shooting the scene. And I mean, whatever the scene is, he comes in and he's pointing out all this stuff in a golf pro shop, and he's just buying one of everything because he's Rodney Dangerfield. He's rich and he just won't shut up. Like it's just one long screed of going, yeah, I'll buy a couple of those balls and I'll buy that coat over there and I'll pick up one of those magazines. Like he's just talking. And then he looks over and he sees this really ugly hat, right? And he says, oh, geez, look at that thing. I bet if you wear that hat, it comes with a free bowl of soup. And then behind him is this really snobby villain of the movie played by Ted Knight, who's really funny. And he's wearing the same hat.
Yep.
And Rodney goes, oh, it looks good on you, though.
Yeah. I've seen that clip. Okay.
That's pretty funny. Like, that's a good.
Yeah, like 1980 or whatever. You know,
do you know that? So, do you know his last line of the movie, too?
Yeah, I do.
It's so funny. Like, that's
pretty funny.
That's so like, hey, this movie's pointless.
Yeah. Earthling Plant says, I watched the Rodney Gets Shot video in public.
There's two more on YouTube about Rodney. You and I were going back and forth for like 5 minutes over what to title it.
Yeah.
I wanted just to call it Ladybugs 1992, directed by so and so.
Palmer says, I do not find Rodney Dangerfield funny. That's good. That's a relief, honestly. I'm glad there's some dissent. I mean, he's a dinosaur. I mean, like,
yeah, but he's a funny dinosaur.
Do you find like Fatty Arbuckle funny? Like,
I've never heard a Fatty Arbuckle joke. I do find Henny Youngman very funny. Henny Youngman,
about, like, old comedy is funny. It's just I'm fine with someone not liking Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna but I do think there's something very for the problems of a lot of 80s and prior comedy films.
Yeah.
When things would try to get raunchy, they still, I always bring up that I like leading actors and actresses that aren't tens. I bring it up a lot. And Rodney spent his whole life becoming an incredibly funny person. And it wasn't until he was like sunsetting that he became a big movie star. You know,
well, I love that about him. Yeah.
Yeah. And his movies are like Back to School is considered one of the funniest American movies by many people. And I only saw it for the first time like a week or two ago. And I laughed my ass off the whole way through.
I should watch that one, right?
No, you won't like it. It's
really?
It's like 60% good Rodney jokes. And then a lot of just like checking out girls and like there is a lot of like, if you have the ability to laugh at a girl basically saying aw shucks to a guy she's so out of his league, like it's that male gaze stuff from those comedy movies. It writes itself. But the drama in that movie, what drama it has, is smart. It's informed by Harold Ramis, who is a smart writer. He knows when to give you like the college drinking jokes, but he also knows like the Kurt Vonnegut stuff, you know. It's free on Amazon. I do think it is. I get why I can watch it through the lens of, okay, this is going to get offensive every now and then and not like lose my, I can keep laughing. I can keep laughing at it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that mode is on anytime I watch something like made before a month ago. Like, yeah, so I don't know. I can probably deal. I mean, I should watch it just because it's got the Oingo Boingo.
Oh, the Oingo Boingo scene's great. Yeah, no,
cool.
The Kurt Vonnegut scene, Oingo Boingo, Harold Ramis is writing and direction. Adriana Barbeau, what's his name? Oh my God, he's in Gremlins 2. He's in Star Trek. He's in The Howling.
Oh, Robert Picardo.
Yeah, Robert Picardo's in it.
There you go. Nice.
Robert Downey Jr. is in it. Bruce Springsteen isn't in it, but they make a really good Bruce Springsteen joke using Burt Young of all people. There's some really funny stunt work in that movie where Rodney Dangerfield goes to like dive into a pool and they'll clearly be cutting to a stunt actor that looks surprised. It's like they really embellished the fact that they're winking at you. Like the movie knows it's a stunt actor doing these dives, but they'll cut it very cleverly, but you can't hide it. And they do it numerous times. Like it's not just the finale. Like Rodney will just go take a dip at one point and he'll go to dive in and then it just cuts to a wide and it's clearly a very athletic person. I don't know. I found Back to School pretty funny. Robert Dangerfield I liked as a kid.
Yeah, I haven't gone back. Hey, I just want to mention that Kurt Vonnegut is one of the first people to hold Ryan Murphy when he was a newborn. I like that fact a lot. Just a random thing. He was like at the hospital or something, and his son is a doctor or something. So
that's awesome.
You're shaking your head like, no, that's bullshit, Neil.
No, it's great. My story about meeting Werner Herzog is like an inferior version of that story. It's like, I met Werner Herzog. He's like, well, guess who held me when I was born?
Well, at least you remember your thing,
I mean, but still, like, good on Ryan, right? I'm trying to think of other Rodney stuff. Do you know the story about him writing on The Simpsons when they sent him his script to do his episode?
Yeah, he punched it up.
Which is what you did in showbiz, because he did so many guest spots on TV. And the animators, when they got back the script, they were like, we're like the Simpsons writers, like we're like the most acclaimed writers in the history of TV.
We went to Harvard, like
So
all of us.
But he got it. Like Rodney's
Yeah.
jokes in that are incredibly funny. I don't know. Hard not to. I like Rodney. I brought up Henny Youngman. Would you rather talk about really old comedy movies or our issues with 80s comedy in particular? Because
Like
I think
how old?
Like I'm talking like Bringing Up Baby. I'm talking like I took a history of film course, 2 of them in fact, and Bringing Up Baby is wicked funny. It's still really funny. I mean, I like slapstick. I like esteemed people going through pratfalls, you know. That's pretty much. I mean, have you seen It's a Wonderful Life? No, right?
No. Yeah. I mean, it's like pretty high on my list of stuff. Like, yeah, you got to watch that.
Jimmy Stewart, that movie is funny as hell. Like really funny. I mean, it's just the way he talks, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but how about we get into the weeds then of 80s comedy? Because I have to buy 6 minutes while this thing pre-renders out these very taxing special effects.
Oh, I get something I could. Well, it's technically 80s comedy. I just want to look up like how old he was. But Jim Carrey,
Once Bitten,
pre Once Bitten, Jim Carrey was like even before that, he was like kind of famous, at least in Canada, like when he was 18 or 19 or something. And I think he got like so famous for like his impression work and stuff. He was opening for Rodney Dangerfield when he was like college age.
Really?
Yeah, he like did a national tour with Rodney, young baby Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey took like 14 years to like
blow up,
break out. Yeah,
he had multiple shows. He was in a few movies with bit parts and stuff like that. Like he was in that one Clint Eastwood movie where Liam Neeson played a music video director.
Yep. Yeah, Jim Carrey. He plays. He's supposed to be Axl Rose or something. Like when he sings, they're using a Guns N' Roses song. But Jim Carrey.
Welcome to the Jungle. It's like one of the 3 songs.
It's pretty funny. I've gone down like a bunch of like YouTube holes watching like the early Jim Carrey stuff. It's so weird. He's like such a different person in interviews and stuff.
He really didn't like doing stand-up. Like it's come out a lot. He liked doing stand-up for like 6 months, but he said he had a real problem with watching incredibly drunk, like violently laughing people after a while. So he's like I had to stop doing stand-up. It like hurt me. I had to like get into TV if I could.
Some of his stand-up from like right before he blew up, like you watch one, you've seen it all. Like, you know, he does a lot of the same stuff like over the span of years.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. Yeah, like just like the early stuff of him on like Johnny Carson and stuff is really interesting just because like he's someone we're so familiar with, but like he was kind of like on TV and almost got famous once or twice, like a decade before he succeeded.
Yeah. What what was the first comedy movie you remember seeing that kind of woke you up in terms of, oh, this isn't cool? It's like
good question.
Caddyshack's probably the one for me. Like Caddyshack was the first time because I knew that Rodney Dangerfield was funny. I knew that Bill Murray was funny. And I knew that this was supposed to be a big Chevy Chase movie. And I'd seen the memes of Ted Knight and all that stuff. I'm like, this has to be funny. And then watching the stuff that was dated, not offensive, just like old comedy editing. Yeah. Like old, boring composition in terms of framing and all that stuff like that. I was like, okay, it's an old movie, a cheap movie. But like the downright crappy protagonist, like the ill-intended, like decent people in the movie, like it was hard to like, that was kind of what woke me up. I was like probably like 20, you know. I was like, oh, I don't like anyone in this. They're all kind of jerks. Like that. I don't know. Have I bought you enough time? Do you have an example yet?
Nothing's jumping out to me. I mean, there's definitely movies like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, I feel like a bunch of like 2000s comedy, like when we were coming of age, was pretty like that. So let me look
The
up.
Hangover. The Hangover.
I didn't see The Hangover, but did I see The Hangover?
Don't. It's not. It's really overblown. I'm not
Don't
sure.
worry. I'm not going to at this point.
I stand up for a few taboo comedies, even newer ones. I mean, like you and I have gone back and forth on Tropic Thunder a few times.
Yeah.
I really like Tropic Thunder. I stick up for it. I don't think there's anything in it that's going to get more dated as time goes on. It's like, no, like this movie knew, like day one, like these are our problems. Like,
yeah. No, like anything you can say good or bad about that movie was said, day one, basically.
It's like, hey, this Simple Jack stuff's kind of mean. Yeah, that's the point.
Right.
Which is why I go up to bat for it. I mean, a lot of 80s comedies. You and I have talked a lot about how a lot of 80s comedy was edited very slow, and they would just let the comedians riff and go improv because people thought that was the secret sauce. Like, oh, just get funny people and let them improv a bit because Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis pulled it off so well. I think John Landis's stuff doesn't edit great. I think it's very long-winded and kind of like you and I watched American Werewolf in London for the first time together.
Yeah. And that's a good movie, and it's not exactly a comedy, so I didn't mind editing
the awkward
in that
pausing.
so much. Yeah.
I thought it was I think that's
like,
one of those movies that's elevated by having a very striking ending. I think it's kind of I think it's a pretty mediocre movie for more than half of its runtime. And then there's like 2 or 3 like explosions of eye candy, like wow, like the transformation scene, obviously. And then the ending really punches you in the gut. But I've seen older horror movies that have gotten me more. And I couldn't name one character from that movie. I couldn't tell you their names,
Yeah. Oh, you'll like this, Kevin. Sleepy Nougat said, I watched Ghostbusters this Halloween and the main guy creeped me out.
Ghostbusters is the best movie. It really is.
I love Ghostbusters, but I can totally see like watching Bill Murray, especially compared to like the other guys who are all like pretty decent dudes.
Oh, they're heroes. They're like literally heroes, except for
Bill Murray. Certainly not, but like the camera kind of follows him and like wants you to feel charmed by him, and it doesn't always work.
Well, I'd say this. I'll say this about Venkman. Anthony Guillen, one of my best friends, once said, even by the end of this movie, I'm still not convinced Peter Venkman believes in ghosts.
That's pretty good.
He's got better shit to do. Like that's the
he's like,
I
mean, in Ghostbusters 2, he's a lot more cuddlier and like, and all the stuff with him is like less problematic, but it kind of like goes too far in the other direction where it feels like a sitcom at times.
Well, I'll say this in like glibness aside, in like true like stark defense of Peter Venkman in the first Ghostbusters, that is the entire arc of Peter Venkman. Like literally the first scene, he's like trying to sleep with a co-ed, and then the first time you hear the love theme of that movie, it's a theremin. It's a theremin that leads into a waltz. It's a beautiful Elmer Bernstein composition. And the name of the song is I Respect You, because it's cued by the first time Pete Venkman looks Dana Barrett in the eyes and says, it's because I respect you. It's like, it is there,
Yeah.
Like the point of the movie is like this guy is going from being a shyster to being a manager, and he is growing up. Shaun of the Dead basically does a similar arc. And it's a good formula. It works well between horror and comedy. Like it's a good trajectory to thread that needle.
No, but I get it, because so much 80s comedy really is like characters like Bill Murray, but it's aspirational. So it feels at times like, wow, this guy, like this is what people thought was cool in the 80s, and it's kind of not.
But he does get kicked down a lot. Like he literally opens the movie by getting fired. Let's just see how this looks, just to see how it cuts. You hear this?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't mess with it though, because I don't want to like mess up the stream. There he is. I have no idea if the audience can hear it. This looks good.
I gotta fix that.
Ooh, what was it?
Matte line.
Ah.
There's two, I think. When Ryan's hand comes up. No, that's yep, right there.
Oh no.
I could have sworn I fixed that. And then behind his head. I'm really happy with the transparencies and the glasses. The masking worked well. It feels like you're really seeing the reflection of the car around you too. There's a lot of glasses in this scene. There's a green edge to Ryan. I tried tinting blue, but it just kind of came out teal. Does that look funny to you?
It looks okay. I'll be honest, the quality that I'm seeing is not that good through the stream you're sending me. So
yeah.
I see the green. It's pretty good.
I don't want to spend too much time going over Ghostbusters because I could do it all day.
Right.
But I do think
a lot of people say like they've never seen it in the chat. I will say like, oh, check it out.
It's
comedy aside, it's one of my favorite fantasy sci-fi movies of the 80s.
It's the best idea. It's truly the best idea. Like the idea of taking the idea of these are people that deal with the supernatural and they're the professionals. Yeah. They're the only outfit on earth that deals with this. And you just have to trust them. And they know how to get the most comedy out of that. The big lines are funny. All the jokes land for me. I certainly think it's a lot better than its contemporaries. Like a lot of 80s humor, I think, doesn't edit well. Ghostbusters edits pretty damn well.
Well, that's the thing, is because it takes itself seriously as like a genre film, you know, and it builds up a ton of suspense and like awe, and the music's great. And
tell them about the Twinkie.
Yeah.
What about the Twinkie?
And the jokes are good, Kevin. Yes, I know.
No, but that's like framed and edited, like like they play it straight. Like
yeah, I know it's a great.
There's no John Candy wibbity wobbity woobity. I mean, there's a
little bit, yeah.
he was supposed to be in it, and then he.
Well, I mean,
said no.
Rick
Moranis took the role. Rick Moranis,
pretty broad, but he's good.
He's really funny in it. Sigourney Weaver's a really good foil. I guess you'd call her a foil because she just sees through Murray, which is why I do think it is an end of an era kind of movie. Like I think after that movie, you really couldn't do like a booty call comedy movie like that like we were talking about, like an Animal House, without it coming off like a weird cartoon, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, there's plenty of examples, but yeah,
but they're not. I don't think they've aged particularly well, and I think that they are kind of ridiculed. Whereas Ghostbusters, sure. I do think Ghostbusters. What the heck? It's not happening here. Look. Maybe it was just an issue with the nest between After Effects and Premiere.
Weird.
But no, I think I've brought this up before, and I think The Simpsons is a really good measure of it. I feel like movies got more, pop culture got more homophobic towards the end of the 90s, which is strange.
Oh
like
yeah,
you think there'd just always be there'd always be a forward trajectory. You just assume there would be. But no, when you look at like certain, like the way I almost said Flanders, the way Mr. Smithers is handled, him being gay was like a background joke, like a subtextual, like everyone knows but no one's going to talk about it kind of like thing, which was which is a funny style of humor. But then by like 98 or whatever, it was just like he's dancing to the Village People.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know if that's like actually accurate, like, because I can think of like tons of 80s movies that are like totally fine except there's just one gay slur in the middle, you know. And
oh yeah, Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. The Gate does it.
Sure,
but yeah, but a bunch of good movies have that problem, and I feel like movies really cut that out for a little while, and I think
that's what I'm saying is I feel like it went away. And then it got really bad between like 99 and like 2002. I remember watching Can't Hardly Wait with some close friends of mine. And we got so bummed out by the finale of that movie because there's a big gay slur and a finger point, and that's like supposed to be the villain getting their comeuppance because a crowd of people yell it at him.
Yeah,
That's like the end of that movie, and that's a good movie. Otherwise,
my wild guess, like as a cultural thing, is that the early '90s were kind of like this. Oh, AIDS is really bad, so let's not joke anymore.
Yeah,
let's like be respectful, and then that kind of wore off. And then by the 2000s, we had like the Bush era, just low point of culture, and then yeah, movies got really bad about that stuff.
Hangover opened with a bunch of them. Like I'm the Hangover has a lot of just slurs in the opening minute. All right, I fixed that matte issue, I believe. Do you see? I really got to fix that green edge on Ryan. But so I have the car bobbing up and down, like we talked about in a lot of these. What do you think about the outdoors? Is it fine?
It's okay for now. I might like a little more color in it, maybe. I don't know if that's the right impulse.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Someone said it's not a slur because Bill and Ted are gay. Thanks.
So did you know, so Beavis and Butthead, only like a third of that show is available commercially to purchase.
Is it because of the music rights?
No, it's more than that. Mike Judge like openly is like embarrassed by most of the show because I haven't seen a lot of it, but there's just straight up like crazy insensitive stuff in it in the first few years. And it wasn't until Mike Judge kind of matured as a creator and started, the guy who would make Office Space and Idiocracy emerged from those first few seasons. And I don't think I'm putting words in his mouth. You can find him talking about this. He's like, yeah, that's why it's called the Mike Judge Collection and not the complete show. But you can find the entire show. There are DVDs and torrents, but apparently it's, I mean, Beavis and Butthead are supposed to be assholes, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I'm not shocked that they would like do racist or homophobic things, you know? They're just not, you know?
There's only so far you can go with like the modern day like reclaiming of Beavis and Butthead, like, oh, they're sex positive and like well, that's it basically.
Yeah.
They have no other good redeeming features.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't, yeah, no, they suck. That's the point.
They're too busy insulting each other, mostly Butthead insulting Beavis.
Well, he's the brains of the operation. Which is still just the funniest goddamn thing to me. Running low on shots to do. How does that look to you?
I like it. I don't know if it's realistic, but it looks nice to me.
The lighting works. Like I buy the key. Like I buy where the key light is, I should say. I guess I should do this one. And I can borrow from this one is very similar. Yeah. Which one did I just do? Gotta pick one so I can work on it while we're rambling on about Beavis and Butthead. I love Beavis and Butthead. I think Beavis and Butthead Do America is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Like beyond like good for an animated, like beyond good for a TV based movie. Like it's kind of like, you know how the SpongeBob movies are sometimes just dynamite. Like,
yeah,
I've only seen the newest one, but I've heard that first SpongeBob movie is really good. Is it really good?
I saw it in theaters, and yeah, I had a good time. I don't think I've seen the other ones though, but I do love me some SpongeBob.
This is gonna be a pain in the neck. Look at the two.
Actually, there was a clip of SpongeBob on TV earlier today, and Darcy saw it, and she said, "Is he cheese?"
Yes.
It was very cute.
Who was made
I
out
was
of
like,
cheese?
yeah, you know exactly the deal with SpongeBob. He looks like cheese.
I was listening to an interview with Clancy Brown recently. I really like Clancy Brown.
Me too. I mean, who doesn't?
Every time I've heard that guy, he's a really cool dude. Like you can tell he's like Real deal.
I was talking with Ming earlier about Detroit Become Human.
That's right, because he's in. I keep forgetting. Yeah,
Clancy's in it. He's probably the human character that's in it the most. He's not a player character, but like a big part of it is like befriending him in the game. But granted, this is like a third-hand quote, but like she was telling me that there was something he said about like in an interview where he said like, you know, like this technology and like the multiple choice stuff is like really amazing, and like if someone with a good grasp on like dramatic like tension got their hands on this technology, it would be amazing, which is like such a backhanded like thing that's diss like the creator of the game, because apparently he had just like so many lines to do, and the director was just like, just say the lines, you don't have to like get into the character's mind, you don't get a chance to do like
David Cage is derided by a lot of people.
Yeah,
I haven't looked closely into his creative process. I just know that I liked Heavy Rain a lot, and I probably gave him too long of a leash. I probably was like, well, you know,
that's how I feel.
Made by French. I think he's French. I think it's a French studio that made those games.
It's definitely a bunch of French names on the game. I don't know if he is, but playing Detroit Become Human, every time there was like a plot point that like wasn't great or whatever, or like I felt could have been done better, I'm like, yeah, but like imagine having to like write 50 endings and all these different, like it's such a complicated story to actually write.
James Cameron said that once. He's like, listen, making a movie with one ending is hard enough. Like, I can't, because people have asked him about getting into video games because he seems like the kind of guy that would like to do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I'll make the things video games will rip off for years.
Someone says, Neil, clean your room. Oh yeah, I got like some piles of junk here. Sorry. Try and cover up my mail here.
I'm trying to think of anything taboo, like TV wise too, because that's been like kind of our subject. I feel bad like dumping on John Landis for some reason, because I feel like
all he did was kill some people.
That's kind of the thing, right? Yeah. It's like
and his son is terrible. Like, I don't know.
His son sucks. I've never. I just, this is it. It's not that I think they're like defendable people. It's just I always feel kind of weird shit talking someone on microphone, and we've done it with people that really warrant it before. But then every now and then, like, I'll be like, what? Why did I spend so much time dumping on this kind of harmless loser? Like that's like I don't feel like we do it that often. Right. There was like one time we basically sat down on camera for like an hour to complain about Doug Walker. And it was like every color of the rainbow, like complaining about him as a professional, complaining about him like as a human being because he like didn't take responsibility for his own company when people needed basic help, you know. But afterwards,
right
like
after that, yeah.
Yeah, but after that, I was like, it was whatever. I don't like. It's like a tongue twister thing. It's like if you weigh in, if we're bringing up the subject.
Yeah.
This is interesting. See how it's two-tone green here? Change subjects. I wonder if I should just do two different keys. You know, that'll look weird. Let's see if I can get away with doing this. I don't know. I mean, we had our whole thing with when I dumped on I guess it's kind of dumping on when I talked smack about Yonan Vasquez a little bit. Even though I'm probably the biggest fan of his between you, Ryan, and me. But I was just saying stuff that I'd heard him and people close to him say on podcasts and such. So I thought it was cool, but it wasn't cool apparently. Because he reached out and we talked about it. And I learned the whole story.
Let's see. People are making fun of how your room is so clean and mine is so messy.
I'm like not fully moved in here. You know, that's like my thing.
Yeah. And I have a child, so there's a plastic slide in the background, and look, it's tough.
This green screen's not going to look good over here. It's during the day, so I can't hide it. So maybe we should do a.
Looks like we have like a window rolled halfway down or something.
Yeah, but I can either do 2 keys or a Luma key. Do you think he's bright enough for me to cheat that? No, his hair is dark and the shirt's dark.
Yeah. It's nice. I would leave the mistake in for now. Maybe. I mean, you'll always notice it because
I'm a freak.
Yeah.
Freak. It's a great line from Darkman. He is a freak, ladies and gentlemen. Name a few movies you'd put in your top 10 comedies.
Top 10 comedies.
Doesn't have to be in order, just any.
Yeah, Ghostbusters would make it.
Really? I'm actually flattered to hear that. I take that because I talk it up a lot and I haven't ruined it.
I cannot possibly compete with how much you talk about Ghostbusters, but
but to hear that it's still in there means that like
I got into it at I really got into it at the right age. It's not about you, Kevin. I saw Ghostbusters long before
I know, but I'm saying is I didn't ruin it for you. Whereas
no.
The public has ruined things for me due to overexposure for sure. Like say Star Wars, like I'm like I can't do this.
Yeah. No, I mean like I definitely am not as I don't like need to always watch Ghostbusters like I would have, when I was younger, but I don't know. Like it is good. I'm trying to think of other stuff that like is actually just like laugh out loud funny to me.
I could put some words in your mouth because I know that you'll say yes.
Sure. Gremlins 2.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh hell yeah. It's a great movie.
That's definitely one of your all-time favorites.
The big asterisk movie that I recommend people sometimes is Gentlemen Broncos, which also has Jermaine in it and Sam Rockwell and a lot of gross out humor and 1 or 2 stray slurs and stuff, but it is completely ridiculous. It's the I don't know how I describe it. It's the guy who made Napoleon Dynamite, but he decided to make something that was just like way more ambitious as a follow-up movie. And it's just grotesque and really funny.
This mask.
What else do we say? Someone said Neil will say Mystery Men. No, because I'm not 11 anymore.
Yeah, that's the movie that you really wish was funnier.
Yeah. Oh man, what the hell?
It's got good jokes. Good jokes, but
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is, I think, one of the best comedies ever made.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to give you this floor here, but Freaked.
Yeah, Freaked is a cult favorite of mine. Part of it is just how little known that movie is, but it is legitimately really funny.
That's like our Airplane, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to give it to Airplane too. I think that might be my favorite out of the
spoofs.
The spoofs.
How do I get rid of this stupid matte line? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Airplane actually, I'm trying to think, ages pretty well.
It's like that's what I meant earlier about there's some taboo humor that rose, and I think the spoof movies are a good example of that. That they were, I think, the spoof genre. Having recently watched a lot of those movies in the last week, was kind of okay being moderately PC and having kids gloves on up until Scary Movie. I'm pretty sure Scary Movie ruined the genre.
Well, it's the Wayans have a different approach to comedy for sure. We've talked about it. Even as a kid,
unfunny.
Well, look, when I was younger, I really liked In Living Color. Like I was a fan of the reruns on FX and stuff.
Yeah.
And even I knew that Scary Movie was just like, that's a good example of a movie that I think was my first like clue that like comedy can be really gross and just upsetting.
Yeah, there's a lot of really uncool stuff in those movies. Mm-hmm. Like making fun of like disabled people and slurs and rape jokes and stuff. And I've always had a thing about them being kind of crappy.
In Living Color was similar as far as you could get on Fox, but it had the benefit of, well, it just had like the benefit of like being a better showcase for like a bunch of really good comedians, including Jim Carrey and like, you know, the various Wayans and
David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson.
I liked all of them. And I'm not going to go back and rewatch that show.
Don't. It's really rude in like a way that makes me sound like an old biddy. But like, What are the better
SNL? All right, what are the better SNL movies? I'm trying to think. Like
Wayne's World.
Favorite? Yeah, Wayne's World is good. I don't know if that's one of my favorite comedies though.
They Loaded Weapon 1 makes a comedy sin in that it ends on a parody of Wayne's World.
You know, you can't do that.
You can't make fun. You can't spoof a comedy. It's pointless.
They do that in Stay Tuned with John Ritter as well. There's the.
But is Wayne's World that big a deal? Considering
for a hot second, it was. Yeah.
Considering it's just a ripoff of Bill and Ted. I'm surprised more people don't talk about that. I realized that at one point, and I looked it up, and a few critics had called out Wayne's World.
I think Dana Carvey himself was like,
"We stole
guys."
This.
Yeah. I think he mentioned that a few times.
I like Dana Carvey. I'm sure Dana Carvey strikes me as somebody who thinks cancel culture is real, based on the last time I saw him do stand-up. Like, he wouldn't call it consequence culture, if that makes sense. Like, he seems to be like, millennials, this and that. Like, so.
Oh, really?
So I can just I can just leave him in my memory.
Why is it always him? Jerry Seinfeld was doing that too. And there are two comedians who have very little to work. I mean, all right, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but like Jerry Seinfeld in terms of like in the context of doing stand-up, his stand-up has always been like pretty PG and just like, I think always inoffensive.
I think Jerry Seinfeld truly thinks he's the arbiter of comedy in a way that he genuinely has never been. I mean, I'm not even saying like, oh, he's unfunny. I'm saying he really acts like this like elder statesman of the medium. And it's like, but you're not funny. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to be that blunt about it. Like, and everyone says it like kind of quietly, but I feel like he's never been told to his face, like, no, seriously, you're not funny. Like, you're really old hat. Young people are never going to revisit you and be like, you know, Seinfeld was actually really funny, the way we just did with Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll go up to bat for Henny Youngman. I'll go up to bat for Bringing Up Baby. No one's ever going to, in 20 years, be like, oh, you know, Jerry Seinfeld was actually a really funny guy. Like, no, he's super.
Even like, I watched one of his clips a few months ago, and my takeaway was like, well, it's not funny, but it's like very well rehearsed, and like he's doing a good job delivering his material. That's the most I can say about him.
I mean,
but yeah, like, you know, Jason Alexander is a funnier actor than him.
They all were
like, times 100.
Yeah. This happens to me a lot, by the way, where I just lose mass.
Oh my God. Some people said Praxibadal said, young people may not like Jerry Seinfeld, but he likes them.
Yeah. That's kind of like another thing. Like,
well, yeah, that's a good joke. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it was a good joke. And I don't think he needs to be like burned at the stake or anything like that. I just like, every time I hear from Jerry Seinfeld, I just want to say, well, who asked you?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, has there ever been a time you're like, I wonder what Jerry Seinfeld thinks? Like, if anything,
all right,
even when Larry David has
made
victories,
he's made it easy enough to like forget he exists most of the time. Then he made B Movie, and then, you know, he's got his little shows and stuff. Yeah. I like some of comedians in cars getting coffee occasionally.
I think it's too lazy.
Oh, it's extremely lazy.
That's like a very me thing to levy.
Sure, but I don't know. Like, I do think he's good at like just hanging out with other comedians. I guess, like, if that's a skill. It's not. No.
It's like he can't be a talk show host. So they have to give him something else to do. Like, you can't let him just talk on camera because he's going to say really crappy things, and he has no discipline, and he's been handed everything his whole life. He's the anti Conan O'Brien, the anti Stephen Colbert, who can turn around any interview and make it work.
Mhm.
So you have to edit around him with like 8 GoPros. You know what I mean? Like I've worked in reality TV. I've seen a lot of camera operators get truly screwed by boneheaded talent who have no patience. Or like, just put a GoPro in. Like, just do this now, and then you end up with like a really bad looking piece of work. 1 second. And I just, whenever I've watched comedians in cars getting coffee, that's all I see is like, this guy looks like a real chore to work with, you know?
Yeah. It's a podcast, not even a well-made podcast. I mean, like, it's an expensive podcast, mostly because of the cars.
Yeah. But like, he's never, I don't see it. Like, I don't see like the charm, you know? He just comes off like a really spoiled dude who was surrounded.
Did you watch the clip of
the Bobcat Goldthwait thing?
No, of Jerry Seinfeld and Larry King. And Larry King, basically at the beginning of the question, I think just for context, he just kind of says like, so you weren't canceled, you walked away. Like, he says something like that. He basically says the show wasn't canceled.
Yeah.
Basically to set up like, because it was like 5 years after Seinfeld ended, and Jerry Seinfeld interprets that as saying, as like Larry King not knowing that the show wasn't canceled or something like that. And like, he gets very like high and mighty and he's like, please, Larry. And it doesn't come off as a bit to me. I feel like you can usually tell if Jerry Seinfeld's joking around with you.
Yeah, because he's not that talented.
He seemed legitimately offended at the idea that like someone could believe that his show could have been canceled. I don't know. It was like, I don't know. Yeah. He literally, yeah. It was
he probably has to really hang his hat on that because he's never going to get a successful show again. Like, he has comedians in cars getting coffee, and it's like barely a program. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really like dumping on him here, but like, after saying I try not to do that, but Jerry Seinfeld, no, fuck him. As someone who like also loves Superman, he gives Superman fans a bad name.
Oh, we just lost a watcher. That must have been him.
He's like crying now into his mountains of money he didn't earn. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like, I think we know she came from like your privileged upbringing and all that stuff. And
oh yeah, she's one of those like weird secret Dynasty billionaires.
Yeah. But like, and Michael Richards like is clearly an ass with like bigotry and mental health issues, and like, but at the end of the day, like, they all were carrying Jerry, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, Michael Richards was working for a long time before, you know, he found Seinfeld
on Fridays and
the
show Fridays. Yeah.
And like, I mean, if Seinfeld had been canceled after a couple of seasons or whatever, I bet we'd have a much higher opinion of Jerry Seinfeld of like, oh yeah, like
we probably wouldn't think of him.
I don't know. We might, in the context of like kind of gimmicky 80s comics, like he was friends with, you know, Joel Hodgson and stuff. And
yeah. I didn't know that.
Actually, yeah. Probably the main reason I watched even one episode of Comedians in Cars was because he did one with Joel. Oh. And they just hung out, and Joel's a really cool, like seemingly sweet person. So it's like, why are they hanging out? But then I remembered, before Mystery Science Theater, Joel Hodgson lived in LA, and he like wrote Jerry Seinfeld's first comedy special.
Wait, so Jerry doesn't even write his own jokes?
Well, it was like sketch stuff in the comedy special.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know.
And you watch it now, and it's like very like weirdly imaginative for Seinfeld. It's like an HBO special or something.
Like Pee-wee's special, yeah.
Yeah, there's like weird stuff where like Jerry's remembering his childhood, and there's like a bunch of like forced perspective stuff where like the adults are super big and he's tiny. It's like weird.
It's actually creative.
Yeah, it's
not just a dude talking about how he likes cereal. Whoa!
Hey, Lindsay's in the chat. Hey, Lindsay Small Butera. She says something about news radio.
So much. Hey, Lindsay. Congratulations on getting your game on the Switch.
Yeah, Later Alligator is coming out next month, I think. I don't know if that's out there yet, but That game's gonna be good as hell on the Switch. I can tell. I'm
The
excited.
install base is like tailor made for that game.
Mhm.
Like she needs me to tell her that.
March 16th.
March 16th.
I think that's what I don't know if that's official though, so I don't want to say.
Okay. I was like, wait, how could I hear that, but Neil didn't? Yeah. In conclusion, to hell with Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, and Michael Richards and probably all of them.
I have more sympathy for Michael Richards than Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
That's a sliding scale kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Like, all right, let's watch the clip again and then decide.
It's like that's like that whole argument lots of people were having about like, is Louis C.K. really as bad as Bryan Singer? Is he, you know, like, should they all be put in that bucket? And it's like, well, what do you want to do? What are you proposing? What's the end game? Are you saying we need to like?
Yeah. He says, "What up, Neil and Kevin?
Hey,
just doing some editing." Yeah, so you're just doing some masking stuff right now. If we can.
This is a harder one to do. You can see the edge of one green key, and that's this project we knew was gonna be a lot of cleanup work.
Mm-hmm.
I think I fixed your glasses. I mean, you know me. I am absolutely. I guess the term would be I am kind of a Michael Richards apologist, because I've seen enough of his career to tell that he clearly has anger management issues. But like, if someone ever said like that's no excuse, I'd be like, oh yeah, of course. I don't think it's an excuse. I just think like I see him struggling like in a lot of his work, with like people that don't have to do what he did to get famous. He clearly worked a lot harder than a lot of his contemporaries. And I remember like him freaking out at Andy Kaufman and all that stuff. Like it kind of informed to me who he was in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Like I look at it partially as a mental breakdown, what happened with him. Partially.
Yeah, a mental breakdown with some racism thrown in.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's fine. It's only a little bit. Like that's I know.
No. Well,
I hope people know I'm not a bigot apologist. This happens so much. I can't get the damn layer controls to come back. I can't add a new mask right now. It's really frustrating. You see this?
Okay, can't add a mask.
Now it's back. Oh, there it is. It's broken again. After Effects.
Oh, are you in the wrong tool? Does it have a little plus next to it?
Yeah, but I switched around a bunch. Like I've done that before.
Yeah, I still don't know the exact process to like say you want to like just move one of the nodes. Half the time I click on it, I do the exact same thing and it ends up like, transforming the whole shape or something,
Yeah. Remember that one time we went to a screening of UHF after midnight on film and I was sitting next to you, and anytime Michael Richards showed up in the movie, I was like howling and like biting my hand and like punching you because I was laughing so hard.
Where was this?
This was at the Coolidge. This was like 11, 12 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I think I could tell you were getting uncomfortable after a while. You're like, everyone in the room knows what Michael Richards did. And you're like laughing so hard at him, Kevin. Could you kind of read?
I mean, he's fantastic in UHF. He's like the heart of that movie.
He's Michael.
Unfortunately,
he can't. Yeah, I totally get it. I don't know. I mean,
like 11 years ago, that must have been right after it happened or something. So
let's go to the Save Michael Richards screening of UHF. That's a bummer. That movie is so not popular. So like to take anything away from UHF is really just like it's over. Just forget about UHF. Funny as hell though.
Yeah. I love what's the name of the guy, the villain in it? McCarthy something.
RJ.
Well,
Kevin McCarthy?
Kevin McCarthy, yeah.
He's great in everything.
I love him popping up and stuff.
Yeah.
He's in Inner Space.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
And the remake.
Yep. He's good in the Twilight Zone movie. Speak of
hell yeah, Joe Dante.
Yeah.
Or you're John Landis.
Yeah, we're talking about John. Yeah.
The Dark. Speaking of,
a lot of dark topics tonight. I'm sorry that I'm going down this hole. Let's talk about Michael Richards some more.
We're just kind of talking about movies and problematic elements. And
that's the topic of tonight. I mean, I've watched a lot of spoof movies lately, and I watched Loaded Weapon last night.
Weapon 1.
Loaded Weapon 1.
There's no sequel, right? I think a lot of people are like just gaslit into thinking there's 2 of that movie. Because there's a 1 in the title.
I want to say that this format, like us streaming right now, I'm just gonna. This is like the end of like a green chroma disc, but I'm just gonna mask it and pretend it's like part of the window.
Yeah.
Really good. No one will know. Where's I going with this? The good thing about this format is I think it gets a lot of ideas off my chest. Like, because I definitely will watch something, enjoy it, and then think, hey, we should do a podcast about this. But would the world really be better off with us talking about
today we're talking about Loaded Weapon 1.
Yeah, that's literally like that's kind of the I really liked it. I really
our guest today is Werner Herzog. We got him. And
I've met him.
That's how I felt a little bit doing Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Shannon. Just like she was just kind of like overqualified for that movie.
Like, it's also like no matter what we do, like the conversation is going to become like the problematic elements of it. But which I get, but she didn't seem to want to invest that much time in that part of it. It was probably just like, okay, like there's only, it's so obvious what the problem is with this character.
Sometimes with a movie, it's just kind of like, everybody knows, everyone's on the same page, and we can kind of move on,
I think even that script for Memoirs of an Invisible Man was trying to work that in somehow. Like, I think that was like the whole setup of that movie. Like, I still kind of like that movie, warts and all. Is there a word for that? Is it just apologist when you know something sucks for some reason, but you're kind of like, I know, but it's just apology. You're just an apologist, right?
It depends on if you're actually apologizing from it, I guess.
I've done this before where I think people throw out the baby with the bathwater on something, and I'll say, yeah, but there's like other merits to this. Why are we throwing out the, like I definitely did that with Man of Steel. Because people with comic book stuff, when they don't like it, tend to like say everything about it. A given movie, like Man of Steel, is like the example of like when people started going like, well, the effects are bad, and I'm like, no, the effects are the best in the industry. Like, well, the music's bad. Nope. Score is fantastic. Like, the acting's actually really good. The camera works really good. It's just the script. I personally thought the script was the problem with that movie. The end of that movie is really crappy. But that I do that a lot. Like, I've noticed, like, that's like a weird tendency of mine, is to get myself into trouble by like standing up for something that probably didn't need someone standing up for it.
Yeah, I guess timing is everything.
Yeah. If I was a better podcast person, we'd come up with a zinger right now.
Let's see. I'm looking at the comments. Yikes TM says, Kevin, I think it's important to be aware of the flaws in things we like, but appreciating it despite its flaws doesn't make one an apologist. Everything is shitty in some aspect.
Thank you. That's basically my defense of Green Lantern. That movie gets derided so much, and I've like brought up like, okay, but like, is Green Lantern really that awful of an overall? And I know with art criticism or just subjective takes on movies and music, there is like a logarithmic like sliding thing. Like, if something just is, it can take 1 or 2 problems for you to really just throw something under the bus. I get that. But I remember when Thor and Captain America 1 came out, I was really surprised that people like were really into them, and I'm like, how are these like markedly better than Green Lantern? Like, can someone explain this to me? Because I still don't think Green Lantern's a great movie. But okay, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm actually trying to find what our background plate would be here. Green Lantern's boring. It's flawed as hell. Like, I'm not, but I have a real soft spot for it. It's got a real less Starfire feel to it.
Let's see. So I mentioned Venom. Venom is fun.
I still haven't seen it, and I really should.
Yeah, I like Venom. That's a good, not a good movie, but I totally enjoyed it kind of movie.
Well, it's totally on its own terms, you know?
Yeah. Did you feel, well, how did you feel? You liked the newest Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, but I also went in thinking it was going to be awful.
Yeah, that can make a difference.
And I was like, what? Why is this? Did you guys just forget? Did you guys just forget what superhero movies are? It is very corny, but I like corny. And I liked how much of a fairy tale it is. And I really like Chris Pine. The villain was great. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought yeah, without that villain story, which like rapidly takes over pretty much everything else, it would be a totally different movie. But I totally enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, this is different enough. This is embracing magic in a way that doesn't usually happen in superhero movies.
Yeah, but really quick, what's the protagonist's name again?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? Like, come on, folks. Like, can we? I think I
kind of has a side plot.
There's like no, but my point being, it's called Wonder Woman, and like she literally lassos lightning bolts. Like, come on, folks. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
What do you expect? Like, I know it's like a cop out, but it's like, I do think people were overly harsh in that movie for a few reasons that certainly aren't my. I don't know. I should quit while I'm ahead. I thought it was fine. I think the last truly awful movie I've seen, like truly awful, a lot of M. Night stuff I think is just abhorrently bad. Like, I can't finish. I've tried a few times and I can't do it.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of his new movies.
He's a technical mess. Like, he really his movies are just not well made.
It sucks because it makes you look at his old good movies with a bit of a critical eye, where you're like, is this actually good, or is it just
that conversation?
Yeah,
I've had that conversation with Unbreakable, which I think is fantastic. I think that's easily his best movie. Like, there's like not like you couldn't convince me that like any of his other movies are as good. like
I think it's the most like potently. I was so drawn in by it.
It's very well directed. Like,
yeah,
it's very well written. It's very well acted.
I loved it just up until the last scene. I thought the last scene was like, there's my M. Night Shyamalan. Like,
yeah, I could see that. I obviously really like it. Why is this background all desaturated all of a sudden? Screwed something up. Oh, I get it. Anywho, no, I think Unbreakable is one of my favorite movie viewing experiences. Just like I distinctly remember seeing that movie, and it just it's the whole thing. It's beautiful. I think it's a really well conceived story. I like the character journey. I like how sad it is. I think the music's great. Cast really, really cares about their role. Like, Robin Wright's good in that movie. Like,
yeah. I'm a The Village apologist. Are you?
No, that movie's terrible. I worked in a movie theater when The Village came out. Did I tell you what happened?
No.
We had a meeting the day that movie came out because the reviews were hitting, and it was one of those movies that like sorry, I need a minute. I'm getting very annoying, I'm sure, to some people because I keep starting and stopping these comments.
I'll just say that I watched it years later after it came out, and it already had the rep of being a terrible movie, and everyone knew the twist, and I knew the twist.
Anyone knew the twist if they could rub two brain cells together.
Well, that's the thing. Watching the movie, I was like, oh, this isn't a genuine twist. It's a twist to the characters, but I think you're supposed to understand it before the characters do.
I think people are dumb. And I think how do I put it? I think M. Night thinks people are dumb. I think M. Night thinks that he was really clever. You could tell from the trailer, like you could tell, like that's clearly going to be the end of this movie. I also thought Adrian Brody was offensive in it.
I've only seen it once, I'll be honest.
Adrian Brody plays a mentally handicapped man.
Ooh.
Doesn't really add to the story. I like Joaquin Phoenix a lot. He's my. I really
Signs.
like
Signs is a good movie. I watched Signs more recently, and I was like,
Signs is good. Signs
very
is
self-contained in a cool way.
Signs' biggest problem is, I mean, if you think about it for too long, like it's been said a million times, like none of it holds water. No pun intended. It just doesn't make sense. Like, but you kind of
like it really works in that
deal with that. Like you have to kind of just be like, okay, but we're trying to give you a cool, legitimately spooky alien movie again with like a religious undertone, which I mean, like I'm not a very religious man, nor are you. And it still worked, even with Mel Gibson in there. It's still kind of, that's someone I don't understand why people keep trying to give him his career back. I don't understand.
I don't get it either. Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, dude, just let him go away. No one's like, man, I miss Mel Gibson. No one's saying that. No one, not even like trucker, like old conservative folks care about Mel Gibson anymore.
Yeah. Why is like Jodie Foster so like intent on, helping him out? I don't know. I don't get it.
Stallone did it, and it bummed me out because I used to think a little higher of Stallone, and that definitely like took him. I used to really think like Stallone was like Stallone said something about like Mel Gibson giving him like a break at one point. Robert Downey Jr. did too. Like they both were like, no, this guy like helped start my career and like he's been there for me. But he's just like, he made enough money, and you got to start thinking about like examples you set, in the work you take. And what are you saying when you're like, I want to give Mel Gibson like millions of dollars to be in this piece of entertainment, whatever. I'm sure this has been said into the ground. I don't know. I'm just on a soapbox here. But yeah, back to comedies. So I'd say
funny
10 random comedies off the top of my head that are, I think, like just great movies. Bringing Up Baby, Ghostbusters, Hot Fuzz, What We Do in the Shadows. I'm trying not to cheat and put too much Edgar right here, but I do think Scott Pilgrim is, as you put it, the best storyboarded movie I may have ever seen. I really like Tropic Thunder. And then a lot of my other favorite comedies kind of veer off into different, like I love Groundhog Day. I truly love Groundhog Day. That's a very important movie to me. But I almost don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's something you should really value as a comedy first. I think it's like its best merits are beyond the.
Oh yeah, totally. I'll say Spinal Tap maybe, or if I could just say like all of the
guest stuff.
Yeah, all the guest movies like in one. They've all got like some amazing stuff in them.
Yeah. We like The Jerk. We never talk about Steve Martin.
We don't. He made a lot of movies, but I haven't seen a lot of them. I haven't seen The Jerk in years. It was a movie I watched. I was like too young when I watched it, I think. And
it's an important comedy movie. I get it. Like it really is like it made movies. It made it so comedy could be just stupid. I'm serious. Like that's before that, it was like guys in suits and like Buddy Hackett and stuff like that. Like to go from that to like him narrating the movie at the camera. I mean, I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are any Jim Carrey movies like top tier? Truman Show is, but it's not like a comedy. Like I mean,
that's the Groundhog Day thing, right? Where technically you could say it's a comedy. What's your favorite Jim Carrey movie? Well, let me rephrase that. What Jim Carrey movie makes you laugh the most?
An adult? I mean, look at his movies. Sonic.
He is funny in that.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah. Legit.
Ace Ventura 2?
Oh, it's like I can't again
better than
need
the
that
first-
huge asterisk.
It's better than the first one.
Yeah. It's also worse in some ways.
Is it? Is it the first
well,
one?
I mean, like it's more racist than the first one.
Yeah. I always remember it as like the natives getting the last laugh.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like it's not like Ace
He's
Ventura
literally
is,
called
like,
White Devil, like for most
Yeah.
of that movie. Right?
They try to make the joke on him, but it's still like I don't know. Like I'd rather just watch him in the Rhino than any other part of that movie.
Slinky. No, I could name like 5 really like gut busting. The subway joke. I've shown you the subway joke in the last few years. Where
No.
they're so Ace Ventura and his Watson finally get to Africa, to the dark continent, and they're in a Jeep, and they're driving, and Ace is driving, and they're driving through Africa, and Ace is just like bumping up and down, like Jim, like throwing his neck around, right?
Yep.
He's like, Africa or whatever, and then the camera pulls back, and the Watson guy is riding shotgun, and he's just completely still, like the road isn't bumpy. And it cuts to an exterior of the car, and they're on a paved road, and they drive by a billboard that says "Eat at Subway." That's the end of the scene.
Yeah, I don't remember the billboard. That's funny.
It's a really good joke. They cut the billboard out on TV because it's an ad, but it's
wow.
so funny. Like that's a really good joke.
All right, Dumb and Dumber might be funnier than
Dumb and Dumber is
sure.
Dumb and Dumber is something special. Dumb and Dumber, really good stories about the making of that movie. Jeff Daniels thinking he wasn't going to be allowed to be in it.
It's really good. Okay. General comedies. What's
Young
good in the
Frankenstein,
world of comedy?
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, what's the best Mel Brooks?
I've never watched Blazing Saddles.
You should. That might be his best. Forgetting something.
I feel like Dracula Dead and Loving It is derided. It's not his best, but I think it's.
Oh yeah, it's kind of his.
People consider that the end of it. Yeah,
it's funny though. I love the producers. The original producers is really good.
Is really good.
Good as hell.
Yeah.
Let's see. Producers 12 Chairs. I saw that once. Blazing Saddles is amazing. Young Frankenstein's amazing. We should watch Silent Movie sometime.
What about Life Sucks?
That one's an odd duck. It's not the same kind of comedy that he usually does.
It feels like it was made for, like he made it for himself.
It's kind of a Trading Places type movie, but
oh yeah. Trading Places. Talk about a movie that should be funnier.
Right?
That movie's just John Landis, man. Like, let's have a bunch of blackface. Let's have not a bunch, like one scene of blackface, but it's just like Jesus. Like, but I guess Eddie Murphy was cool with it. That's probably why people don't complain about that scene. But I love Dan Aykroyd. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, they go into disguise at one point, right?
Dan Aykroyd is in blackface at one point in that movie.
Is he Jamaican? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah,
something like that.
And I think some people give it a pass because clearly Eddie Murphy thought it was funny. You know, he could have.
Isn't Eddie Murphy's also doing like an accent in that scene too, right?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like that must be how people give it away. And I say this as someone who's Aykroyd.
You don't want to see him like that, you know. I'm sure he's
it really bummed me out when I was first watching the movie. I was like, really? Like you're Dan Aykroyd. You're like supposed to be like kind of like a nerdy comedy guy. like this like takes something away, you know. What other grievances can we share on this live stream? Okay, let me see. Best comedy movie. Hot Shots Part 2 is really funny, but I wouldn't die on a hill for it.
I'd say the original Muppet movie is one of my favorite comedies. I think that movie is legitimately really funny.
I think the new Muppet movie was amazing. The one with Siegel.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, the first one, not the sequel. Yeah.
People really like Big, but Big is not a huge gut buster for me.
No, not at all.
Zoolander. Some people really like Zoolander.
Back in the day, Zoolander and Kung Pao Enter the Fist were or not. Yeah.
Did not like that.
I don't know how well either of them have aged, but like those, I heavily associate those with like the same age.
I think. Have you seen Bridesmaids?
Maybe on a plane once.
I think it's pretty damn good. It's worthy of the hype, I'd say. It's dumb as sin, but I think Step Brothers is funny as hell.
Gotta watch that one.
I don't know if you'll like it. It's like
All right, well,
it's a very aggressive comedy. It's like very like it was the movie that turned me around on Will Ferrell, but it's like the most Will Ferrell, just like screaming, punching, like kids. There's a scene where John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell beat up a bunch of kids, like beat up kids. Like it's
all right.
That's funny to watch. Like
Sure.
they're huge. They're struggling to find what more to do.
List of random 2000s comedies, stuff I would have actually seen in theaters.
This shot I have to fix at some point. It's loading up now, but the one of Ryan looking right at the camera, saying "Dear God," blurring on that is so bad.
Oh, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I'll throw Pee-wee's Holiday. Pee-wee's Big Holiday in there too.
That's great. It's a shame that the Simpsons movie isn't like even in the discussion.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the movie was okay, but it wasn't
totally. I've forgotten much of it though.
Yeah, that's kind of the shame, right?
Yep. Ladybugs.
Some people really would put I just said it earlier.
Caddyshack.
Back to School.
Okay,
Some people really like Back to School.
Addams Family, maybe those first two movies.
Actually, yeah, that's actually a really good pick. Addams Family over Bill. Yeah, Addams Family over Wayne's World.
Oh yeah, and I like Wayne's World, but
I do too. But
okay, what's the best Mike Myers movie? Is it Wayne's World? I loved So I Married an Axe Murderer when I was a kid, but I have not seen it outside the 90s, so who knows? I bet that's a movie if I watched it now, I'd be like, yep, I remember that line. I remember that line. I think we just had it on tape.
His dad.
Yeah, he plays his dad. He does the fat bastard voice for the first time. Did I say Gremlins 2? I'm sure I did.
God, Gremlins 2 is so good. That's definitely that movie and Freaked are like not spoof movies, but they feel like they could have been spoof movies.
Yeah.
Like Freaked has like Bob Vila show up at one point. But it's not Bob Vila. It's a guy that looks like Bob Vila. They call him Bob Vila. Hot Shots Part 2 had Bob Vila in it.
Yes, it did. I remember now. Was Alex Winter doing like a sketch show on MTV or something? I've never seen it, but like Freaked did spin out of
Freaked.
Do you have a favorite Monty Python?
I've only seen Holy Grail.
Oh, you should check out Meaning of Life sometime.
Oh, I have seen Meaning of Life. The waiter scene got me really bad.
I don't know. Yeah.
When the waiter brings you out to a meadow and you think you think it's going to be the message of the movie.
Yeah, he shows you the house.
I told my mother I would become a great movie star. So I became a waiter.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't need to explain
Yeah.
that.
It's really good. Honestly, a lot of what makes that movie great is it's not Michael Palin. It's
Please?
who is he? No, it's not Cleese. It's
Eric Idle?
Eric Idle. Thank you. Yeah. Eric Idle also does the Universe song in that movie. So delightful. The best part of that is, he steps out, he sings this song about the universe. He kind of like walks out onto like an outer space stage. John Cleese was in the previous scene, and just kind of like gets left behind. And then when Eric Idle finally like finishes the song and like re-enters the original set, John Cleese is just kind of like snoozing in the corner, and then like wakes up, like he like gets his place. I don't know. It's like a really funny like background gag in that scene. I don't know. I like that movie a lot. Someone said, "Can we reminisce about Kung Pao, please?"
I
Dare
remember
we?
I remember being a kid and being bummed out at how unfunny it was. Because I'm a jerk.
It's, even as a kid, I knew like, okay, a lot of the stuff they made for the movie is not funny. But the cheapest parts of the movie are the funniest parts, where they're just voicing over old movies with like the most juvenile stuff. It brought me so much joy, and that's why I brought it up as one of my favorite comedies that I'm not really going to go to bat for, but like, yeah, I definitely remember like getting some good laughs, more out of like quoting the movie than anything else.
I used to really like Dirty Work.
Yeah, you used to talk about Dirty Work a lot.
Dirty Work is not for everybody. Man, I'm beat. Maybe I shouldn't do any more of this. Dirty Work, special type of comedy that hates comedies in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta figure out what was the background here.
It's a Gen X SNL movie, I guess. I haven't seen it.
I've never seen it. Do you know the basic conceit? Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, they're like a revenge for hire. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Don Rickles is in it. Briefly.
Mr. Potato Head himself.
Yeah, that's his big accomplishment, unfortunately. It is sad how many people like, it's like that's actually what you'd probably know them for. It's like, oh, Jim Varney, Slinky the dog.
Yeah. Being John Malkovich.
Another one. Yeah.
I think it's funny. I think it's, people like to talk up like how disturbing it is, I guess. But honestly, I think it's just ridiculous and pretty funny. Looking at other 90s comedies now. Yeah, Mystery Man. No.
This one's going to be tricky.
There's stuff like that's technically a comedy, like Hocus Pocus, but it's good because it's well-rounded.
But if you actually just want to laugh, that's kind of why Ghostbusters is a special example, because it is more than a comedy, but it's actually very funny.
Yeah, the comedy is like pretty well packed and great.
And I think I've thought about this before, that the psychology of why Ghostbusters kind of stuck around for so many people as they got older, and why it's one of those things that you didn't outgrow. Like, I do think there are certain things for a childhood that if people are still into them, it's a bit alarming. But Ghostbusters kind of, I wouldn't say it gets a pass, but I think the mundane nature of it, and like the workman-like attitude of it, like this, like the blue collar slob angle or whatever. I'm too brain dead to do this. I think it helps it grow with you in a way, something like that maybe Ninja Turtles doesn't for a lot of people. I mean, Ninja Turtles is great, but I can see why Ghostbusters is a little more ubiquitous for people who maybe don't think they're that dorky. Like suddenly you go from liking the ghosts and the special effects in the car to liking, oh, they're dangerous. Oh, like the chemistry between those actors has aged remarkably well. I think I am too brain dead to do this cleverly. Like I'm just kind of spinning my wheels now, so I'll just finish this one tomorrow. But I'm basically just going to copy and paste a lot of work from this because it's pretty much the same shot.
Mhm.
But I think we rambled long enough. I don't know. How'd the chat do tonight? People talk. What are people talking about?
They're talking about movies and stuff. They're actually
Listen to nature tapes.
getting in on the conversation.
Oh, so when I watched Loaded Weapon, the Ninja Turtles show up in it.
Really?
And they're like the Jim Henson Ninja Turtles because it was made by New Line.
Oh, cool.
It's just footage from one of the movies, like, and they green screen Emilio Estevez into it, which is about as weird as it sounds.
Ooh, Mars Attacks might be one of my favorite comedies as well.
I like that movie, but I don't laugh that much at it.
It's more cosmically funny, I think. It's I think it's really funny, maybe not laugh out loud funny.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I just realized that on my stream I had us like full screen for most of that, so you couldn't even see what
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
whatever.
damn. Oh well. Kevin was editing.
Mars Attacks, what were you saying?
The comedy is the plot of that movie. Like what happens in the movie is legitimately just completely ridiculous. Good ass movie. Austin Powers, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I was very into spoof movies when I was a kid, to the point where I saw Wrongfully Accused in theaters and Jane Austen's Mafia. And these are two like second tier spoof movies kind of after the heyday.
Yeah. I'm looking at a list of 100 best comedy movies, and like The Graduate is on it, and it's above Hot Fuzz. So this person doesn't.
It's not the funniest movies. It's just.
I know, but I hate that. Like,
right.
Come on. Like, when you talk about comedy, like, yeah, The Graduate. Yeah.
Yeah. That hilarious movie, with the leg and.
You know what I'm saying? It's a bit. Come on, that's like a bad faith list, in my opinion. I think there's a little bit of a snobbery upper crust tone to a list that says, here are the best comedy movies ever. And they put The Graduate above Hot Fuzz. Come on. Like, Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers is very funny.
Yeah, I got to watch that one. Did I say, what was it?
What about, do you have a favorite? Are any Adam Sandler movies in your wheelhouse? Like, are there any that you would be like, oh, that's actually really funny?
No.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler. No, I mean, I've enjoyed some Adam Sandler stuff growing up, but to go way back in our conversation, Adam Sandler was definitely an early, comedy can be really douchey guy for me.
Yeah.
It didn't stop me from seeing his movies. I think I was one of the few people who liked, the hell was his Hell movie, Little Nicky.
Oh yeah, not a fan.
Oh, it's just
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove is great.
Groundhog Day is probably, because I was saying earlier how I think it almost has too many qualifications to really be like, oh, it's like a guffaw comedy, but it is pretty damn funny. It's almost like Ferris Bueller is a good example of like, yes, this is funny, but it's not really a movie I would watch to laugh at. I would watch because it was a great movie and it's got an interesting thesis. Have you ever seen Dodgeball?
I saw Dodgeball in theaters. Don't remember much about it.
Pretty damn funny.
It's got what's his name?
Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn.
Old guy.
Rip Torn.
Yeah, Rip Torn. I love Rip Torn.
Hank Azaria plays young Rip Torn. The Naked Gun.
Naked Gun is good, but I prefer the show. Police Squad and
Police Squad's great.
Yeah, Police Squad's great, and Airplane is a better movie than Naked Gun. Spy Hard. UHF would be on my top list somewhere.
Really?
I don't know if it's in the top 10, but it's It's legitimately funny, and I've always liked it.
Yeah. I feel like we're forgetting a big one, and like we're gonna get off this. Like, oh, we should have said that one.
Oh, Biodumb. Yeah, no.
Some people qualify Back to the Future as a comedy, and I love Back to the Future, but it's yet again I don't watch it to laugh.
Yeah, the comedy in it, as I've said, is not the best part of it. I'll just put it that way. Let's see. Oh, Lindsay says Basketball, Orgasmo, and Cannibal the Musical.
I've only seen Basketball out of those three. Basketball has a lot of actually DNA to it, I think.
I actually no, I've never seen Basketball. I remember the trailers a lot.
Yeah. What about like? I'm really just trying to scratch my head for like. I'm trying to think of something.
Okay, what is like I'll try to find a list. The top funniest movies, not top comedies.
Yeah.
But
Look at you and Ryan are laughing. Look at like I gotta change OBS so people can. Yeah, they can see.
Nice. Okay, the 50 funniest comedies ever from EmpireOnline.com. So number 50 is Kingpin, but it's misspelled.
Great list.
Okay, number 1 is Airplane, sure. Number 2 is Anchorman. No. Big Lebowski, sure.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite comedies. That's
got some really good sight gags in it.
Oh yeah,
they're shaking the can of ashes.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, that's a good ass movie.
Really good comedy. Kingspin. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, Borat. I don't know if I put that in my top.
Okay, that raises an interesting question. If I'm just Neil, let's say you want a dessert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say you've had a good meal, but you have a little more room in your stomach, and you go, Chef Kevin, bring me something sweet, and I bring you over a bag of raw sugar. Technically, it's sweet.
You're asking the wrong guy. No.
But you following me so far? Like,
no,
technically it's sweet.
Yeah,
but it's not really a dessert, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would apply that logic to the Jackass movies, which are funny as hell. I think they're really funny.
Okay.
And it's almost like
that counts. That counts.
Yeah, they're like Buster Keaton with verisimilitude.
We have not mentioned a single Buster Keaton movie, but we're gonna put Jackass out there.
I mean, what would we even put in there? The Kid?
That's the other guy. No, I actually have not seen enough full Buster or like really most silent comedies to weigh in there. I mean, a lot of those movies kind of just have a second life these days as short clips that people share on Twitter, which I think is great.
Or visual shorthand.
Yeah. But I feel like once a week.
Charlie Chaplin. Sorry, that's who.
Yeah. Once a week, someone will post a Keaton or Chaplin or the third guy who never. Whatever. I don't need to remember his name. But yeah, like that stuff's amazing.
Someone just sent me some fan art on Twitter.
Ooh.
And
cool.
it looks almost like I like it. Look, they even drew in my old dog. But it kind of like looks like old Animorphs fan art from like the 90s. Like it makes you, Ryan and I look way more stoic than we need to be.
Yeah, but we're also like very concerned about like the Yerk armies or whatever.
Yeah. I like
All
it.
Right.
Thank you.
I've never seen it, but the South Park movie, would you put that in your top anything? No? Okay. No. Some people would.
It is very funny. As is half of Team America. But I think Beavis and Butthead Do America is funnier than South Park the movie. You've seen the Beavis and Butthead movie, you said?
Oh yeah.
I think that it's funny how that's. I mean, I think it's definitely better than the Simpsons movie. But it is funny to think that Beavis and Butthead's kind of. I don't know. You can't really champion it for some reason. Like it's like people look at you side. It's like, really, you're gonna stand for Beavis and Butthead? Like it's funny. They're funny characters.
Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of what's funny about Beavis and Butthead is their laughter is pretty infectious, and they're constantly laughing. It's almost a cheat.
It's almost a cheat.
I mean,
But
I
it's
love
also I love Butthead being the brains of the operation, as I said before.
them.
I think their stories can be pretty damn funny. What else is
I think there's I think there's a legit contingent of people who only like Beavis.
Oh, you think Butthead's like too mean?
They think Butthead is just over the line, but Beavis must be protected.
Are you saying people don't? It's like a vocal thing. Like people are
I
saying.
don't know.
This,
I
or
feel
it's
like
I know what you're saying, and I totally can understand what you're saying.
I think people like Beavis a lot, like more than Beavis and Butthead in general. Or there's enough people who are like, you know
But
what, Beavis is great.
Are you saying that people there are like Facebook groups for this, or do you think it's kind of
No.
an understood thing we all know?
This is
you don't want to say it. Though.
It's a
No one
vague
wants to say
impression
it.
I have no way of backing it up. I'll put it
It's like
that way.
maybe it's a Hall & Oates. Like you're supposed to be like, well, everyone knows Daryl Hall is like the real Daryl Hall and Beavis fan art would be pretty good. We're running out of special effect shots to do. We got to do all the flying car exteriors next, but it's good to see like it cut together, right?
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Oh,
Raising Arizona.
Yeah, like that's a good earnest movie. As
it's an earnest movie, but good. That's in my top 10. Absolutely.
Would we put Ernest Goes to Jail in our top 10 comedies?
I wouldn't.
Would you put Ernest Scared Stupid?
Actually, no, because Jail is funnier, and
Yeah,
that's what
thank
we're
you.
talking about here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Favorite? I mean, Evil Dead 2, I guess.
That's another one of those, like, it's an incredibly good movie and it's funny, but like King of the Hill's amazing, but no movie. Look at the chat right now.
So isn't Hank Hill based off the old neighbor of not Bill and Ted, Beavis and Butthead? It's the same voice.
At one point, Lindsay said,
Kinda.
God, Kevin, and I'm trying to think of what she was referring to. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I don't know what you said that prompted that.
Maybe I got something truly wrong. Maybe I was like, this movie's actually okay. I feel like we're trying to get like a good tip of our tongue example before we nope out for the rest of the night. I'm actually surprised Beavis and Butthead Do America isn't on more top 100 comedy movie lists. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was number one for like 2 weekends.
I guess like some of like the fact, like the wow factor of that movie is like, oh, it's actually not bad. Like
yeah.
Like there's some novelty to watching the movie and realizing like, oh, this is actually legitimately fine, but it is good. I don't know if it's in the top.
I love Office Space, but it doesn't make me laugh out loud all that much. I'm just looking through some more lists. 21 Jump Street is very funny.
Oh yeah.
Superbad's pretty damn good. I've only seen it once.
I never saw that one. 9 to 5 is
a lot of these lists have Borat on it, and I'm surprised.
Oh, Lindsay was reacting to the fact that you haven't seen Orgasmo.
Oh, okay.
I haven't either, Lindsay, but I've heard the song, which I can't remember the title, but there's a song from that movie that I've heard.
Is there like an animated like Disney or Amblin movie that's like super funny?
What's the funniest the funny-ass Disney movie?
Emperor's New Groove, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What's the funniest Pixar? I don't know. I think Monsters University is
the SpongeBob musical. Was that released as like a complete film? A lot of people are saying that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. There are no funny Pixar movies.
I mean, they're all varying degrees of funny.
Yeah,
But I can't remember like one really killing me the way that Emperor's New Groove. You know, Hercules is pretty damn funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like they're kind of cut out of the same mold.
Yeah, Hercules doesn't get enough love. I mean, granted, its script is just a ripoff of 2 other movies, but it's like it's really not about Hercules. It's not really about the story of Hercules. It's like, well, Rocky and Superman are popular, so I guess we'll just do that.
A Goofy movie?
I mean, I love that movie, but is it that funny?
No, it's more kind of heartwarming and cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Heavyweights?
That's okay.
It's funny for a Disney, camp movie.
Do you have any favorite Disney Channel movies?
No.
I'm bummed out. Like, there were so many movies. Like, I've heard this said before that the mid-budget movie has died. Right? It's true.
Well, it's gone streaming, I guess. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But this is my current desktop, by the way. It's revolving. People can't see all of it, so I'm gonna make it smaller. I will cover up Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, fuck him.
I love Danny. But I think I used to see a lot more movies in theaters when I was younger. And I remember going to see a lot of just middling looking comedy movies because I just wanted to go to the movies, and I just stopped doing that. And a lot of those movies have not aged great.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna go see Dukes of Hazzard. Sure. It's bad.
Yeah. Here's the thing is a lot of my favorite comedy movies aren't necessarily things that will like elicit a belly laugh at any point.
Yeah.
Some of them are movies that I can watch without openly laughing, and they're just like cozy or clever in a way that I love.
Yeah.
Whereas like, random crap on the internet is way more likely to get me like actually laughing out loud.
Yeah.
Just like trying to, contain myself.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a ton of like strong memories of like a movie like really getting me.
Yeah.
Like nothing's jumping out.
Yeah. Well, I'm basically falling asleep because I ran out of steam like half an hour ago. Well, let's just say that Ghostbusters is the best movie.
Deadpool.
I haven't seen it.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's got some funny stuff.
Finally, a funny superhero movie. That's why
I always... No. It's different enough. You should watch it.
I know it's meta. And
it was my like go-to inane answer.
Yeah, like a movie that no one's really gonna.
That's a lot of people's favorite comedy. I can tell you right now.
Deadpool.
Oh yeah, it's Deadpool.
I like Ryan Reynolds, but I like the X-Men a lot too. What about Shrek 2?
No,
that seems to be the favorite one, right?
I mean, that's probably the funnier one, but no, I'm not going back.
That is one really good joke in it. You remember how Eddie Murphy gets turned into like a white horse, like a big, beautiful steed at one point? And it's when Shrek has been turned into a human. Remember that? Basically, that's like the plot of the movies. They get their wish, and then they overhear the fairy godmother explaining an evil plot and how she's gonna, like, I don't know, kill Shrek or something. And then you hear off camera Eddie Murphy go, "Oh my God, Shrek! Did you hear that?" And the fairy godmother looks over and sees Shrek and Donkey as a human and a horse, like looking through the window. Right? They've been caught eavesdropping. Right? And Mike Myers goes, "Wow, a talking horse." I always thought that was kind of funny. Like that was like his cover.
What's the best Eddie Murphy?
I've only seen a few Eddie Murphy movies. I've seen
None of
Trading
them are that
Places.
funny. Yeah.
I've seen. I never got Beverly Hills Cop. I didn't grow up on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask. I've seen both Clumps movies.
That's the thing. I guess, yeah, The Nutty Professor was a huge movie when we were kids.
Yeah, but it's like,
And
it's awful.
yeah, at the time it was funny. Vampire in Brooklyn, baby, says X.
You were there with me and you, Julie, and I watched that together.
All I remember is you, me, and Ryan were going to work one morning at Plymouth Rock Studios, and I was like getting ready, and the TV was on, and that movie was on, and we kind of like were a little bit late to work because we got sucked into Vampire in Brooklyn, which in retrospect is deliberately a comedy.
Yeah.
Say that much about it.
In retrospect, deliberately a comedy.
I don't think we knew at the time. It's kind of a hard movie to figure out what it's trying.
Yeah. I almost want to like bring the YouTube chat onto the stream. I'm doing it. Screw it.
There they are.
I'm trying to get better at this. Now we're just down to this. Shrek 3 wasn't that good. I'll take your word for it. What about Dave? Dave's pretty good.
It's not my favorite comedy.
I know, but it's a good movie, right?
Yeah.
Frank Langella made us laugh really hard at one point in that movie. Like he was like, he just like looked their mind laughing because it's Frank Langella looking angry.
Oh, he's great. We were talking about Dave, not Meet Dave.
Yeah. Let's Meet Dave.
That's a Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah, with the
little people in the. I don't know. I never saw it, but I feel like there's got to be another good like horror comedy.
Groundhog Day is technically a comedy, and I love that movie. Groundhog Day like gets me like a Frank Capra movie is supposed to get you. Like it really
they do.
Men in Black.
Men in Black's great. I love it.
Jack Black. What's the funniest Jack Black thing? Pick of Destiny should be funnier.
The funniest Jack Black. Yeah.
Parts. I mean,
Google as my memory now.
the parts of the Pick of Destiny movie are just absolutely hilarious. The Tim Robbins stuff in that movie is like legendary.
I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what my. I mean, Tropic Thunder. He's not the best part of Tropic Thunder, though.
Yeah, he's almost wasted in that movie.
Yeah,
he's funny in it.
I mean, Nacho Libre.
I really am just experimenting with OBS at this stage.
I knew you were gonna pull up that Tim Robbins clip.
It's not the clip, but just like look at him.
He's good.
When he's trying to be nonchalant in that scene. Oh my god, it's wonderful. School of Rock. School of Rock's funny.
Yeah, but it's kind of light. It's on the light side.
What about The Life Aquatic?
It's one of my favorite movies, but it's not necessarily like super funny.
It's got a few gutbusters, I think.
Yeah, a few, I guess. But like for a Bill Murray movie, it's like light on the jokes.
Yeah.
High on tears.
I'm getting sad looking at these suggestions because I haven't seen half these movies because I was born in 87. So by like the time the Pink Panther movies came back around with Steve Martin, I was too cool to watch them.
Oh, I never gave a shit about any of the Pink Panther movies.
Yeah.
Outside the cartoon part. Someone said funniest Wes Anderson movie.
It's probably
like Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Hardcore Henry. Gutbusters sounds like a bad parody of Ghostbusters. Here's how we're going to end the chat. Neil, give me a letter grade for Ghostbusters 2.
Ooh. For a Ghostbusters movie, it's a C. There are better, there are worse. I don't know. No, I think it's a C plus, B minus, mostly because of like the special effects, I guess.
I think the special effects are underappreciated in Ghostbusters 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it, C plus, B minus.
Right. Yeah.
It's just more, but
diminishing returns. Yeah.
Also, just they made it very hastily after 5 years when they finally got together. Coke and Sony wanted it out to compete with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it was supposed to be a Christmas movie, and then got released in June. Broke every box office record, and then like 2 weeks later, Batman came out and broke the same records again. It's funny.
I really had to parse your use of the word Coke there. Because hey, you forget that Coke owned a movie company at that time. And they got together, Coke, and and then they had a movie. I mean, that's how they made the first movie. They like literally rented a cabin and got high a bunch and like wrote the movie, right?
Yeah. Did you ever get to see somebody got a copy of the commercial they shot for Ghostbusters 2, like the diegetic commercial?
Oh yeah. Oh, for Ghostbusters 2? Like is it like in the middle of the movie or something?
Yeah.
There's the first movie is the commercial.
There's a pretty funny here, hold on. Wouldn't be a Kevin stream without showing something that provokes our ability to make money off of it. Even though we're not doing that.
Just keep it really small.
That's a really good idea.
And shake the window around a bunch.
All right, I'm gonna turn up desktop audio and I'm gonna turn down the browser.
I can. Oh, it's cool looking though.
Ah! What is it, honey?
It's that darn ghost again. He just won't leave us alone. I guess we're just going to have to move.
No, wait! Don't worry. We're not moving. He is.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters!
Yes, that's right. Ghostbusters. We're back with twice the know-how and twice the particle power to deal with all your supernatural elimination needs.
Look out, Winston. He's a mean one.
Nothing we can't handle, Egon. So come, celebrate our grand reopening with our special half-price service plan.
What? Hold on. Half price? Have we all gone mad? I guess so, Pete, because that's not all. Tell them, Egon.
I'm turning up my mic so Neil can hear me because I know the stream can hear the commercial, but he can't.
Yeah.
There's so many great little touches in this. Like you can see them all looking at the floor for their marks. And if you look at Harold Ramis's mouth, he's lip syncing along to the other characters' lines. Like this is like in universe. These four guys aren't supposed to be good actors. I know you can't hear it, Neil. That seems like the chat can though. Just keep your eyes on Harold Ramis's mouth. Okay.
Oh, you mean the Ghostbusters hot beverage thermal mug and free balloons for the kids?
You bet. So make your supernatural problem our supernatural problem.
Call now, because we're still ready to believe you!
How do you not find that movie charming as hell?
Oh, that's great. I mean, they know like the built-in fun of like everyone, like four guys wearing the same uniform. You know, like all they have to do is like they all point at the camera at the same time, and it's funny, you know.
But no one did it. Like it took until the mid '80s to be like, they're going to be the experts of something so insane.
Mhm.
I don't know. Ghostbusters 2 gets a lot of shit. I like how you said, it's a C. There are worse, there are better. The new one, man. I can't believe they haven't figured out a way to get that movie out.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
really
cannot
curious.
I by all accounts, it looks good. I feel bad that we're talking about Ghostbusters. It's too. Neil, how about this? Let's end it on this. Neil,
Okay.
do you want to tell the folks the story about the time you and I snuck on the set of Ghostbusters and got told by PAs to not be on the set, but we just stuck around?
I mean, that's basically the story. They were filming the 2016 Ghostbusters in Boston. You knew where they were filming, and I thought you had an in of some sort. Didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And I remember going to the street they were filming in the Chinatown area. Are we on camera at all?
I am, but in a scene that you weren't there for, I think.
Okay, yeah. I was there while they were filming the Ecto 1, or is it the Ecto 2 in that movie? I can't remember.
It's the Who Cares.
Yeah. It's cool though. I like that they got an 80s hearse or whatever.
That
to
was
be
the
their
best
car.
thing about it. Yeah.
And I don't think I was on camera at all, but I watched the stunt driver peel out of the garage in that car a bunch.
This is, I don't know if you can see this footage, but you and I seriously like, oh, this is a day you weren't there. I
Okay.
snuck over to the car lot and I got to see the car, like
Nice.
the Ecto. Like I leaked this to the internet actually. Oh, here's the night where I think this is the night you and I got to see the car peel out. I hope this is fun for people. I hope to watch this footage and see these things, because I literally have videos of like you and me going like hee hee hee, like snickering, like, because we were seeing what we thought was going to be movie history, you know.
Mhm.
How do you just
Or at the very least, it's a Ghostbusters movie.
yeah,
Technically, yeah. I saw it in theaters. It was
bad?
I don't hate it, but yeah, I haven't had the urge to go back to it.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted
the problem. There's like enough. Yeah,
I really wanted it to be good. I really wanted it to be good. I was I was like emotionally distraught about how bad it looked when they finally put out trailers. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like both ways. Like, how could people say this looks good? It doesn't. But how could it be bad? It's Ghostbusters.
Ooh.
Is this the shot where it drove by us? Yeah. I don't know if the audience can hear my desktop. If you listen, I think you can hear you, Neil, going, ooh. Hold on. I'll play it one more time. There's a PA saying, you guys can't film this. And then you just hear you go, woo.
It's cool. You know what? I'll say it. Even if I saw that car in real life without all that shit on it, I'd still be like, ooh.
You know what this reminds me of?
The 80s.
But yeah, we straight up were just hanging out on set.
Yeah, I remember seeing the director
Paul Feig. He was nice.
Paul Feig, yeah.
Look at how much control they have over the light here. My God, just spending this giant like diffusion grid. Man, movies. I'm actually glad.
So much, yeah.
I am glad we got I'm finally getting to use these photographs, because these were like, I've always wanted to incorporate these into something, and I feel like I'm not going to get into trouble now for being like, hey, look, I was so tempted to steal something from the car, because no one was over there. Like there was just Ghostbustering equipment all over the place, and I could have grabbed it and ran, but you know, there was the Ghostbusters dirt bike. I leaked that to the internet.
Nice. Anonymously, or
oh yeah, through a friend.
Cool. Nice.
But yeah,
I was not there for this part, right?
I don't think so. But I remember. Hey, there you are.
Cool.
I think I really was like, Neil, I'm getting out of work early. Let's go to the set of Ghostbusters.
I was like, hell yeah. Me and Ming actually went and applied to be extras, I think.
I got a job as an extra on it. A few of our friends did too, I think. Oh yeah, there they are.
I remember because it takes place in Chinatown, and like when they accepted, when Ming gave her paper over. I think they like made a check mark on it because she's half Chinese, and we remember like, maybe she'll get cast.
Mhm.
They'll throw her in there. Like they literally like marked the paper and they didn't mark mine.
Mm.
That was our theory anyway.
Well, it's after midnight. I've barely
God.
worked on the effects. We're getting there though. I don't know what's left. We gotta get some of the flying car exteriors. We're trying to figure it out. 3D
All right,
model.
So I went ahead and I bought a toy car. I'm gonna
Good
see
man.
how it looks. Okay.
Someone just wrote in reply to your story about Ming and you with Ghostbusters. Sorry, white man not allowed.
I really felt that way.
Yeah. Well, all your years of bigotry came back to bite you in the ass, Neil.
And I wasn't able to be in the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, and that's why it's a bad movie.
That's the problem. Oh, that movie's boy. It's also just like a shame that it became
contentious.
Yeah. Like that was like the real problem. Like that was like the real problem at the end of the day. Like it's like the footnote. It's like a stain in pop culture. Like it like really hurt Ghostbusters. It took it from being something kind of like beloved by all and like made it like a hot button thing. Here's a picture of some seals I took last weekend. Well, a few days ago. Ryan and I found an island. A little
peninsula.
A little sandbar of seals. Man. Well, let's go to bed. I have no outro. Thanks for streaming with me. I know I bugged you like the last 3 nights. I'm like, I need to work on this, and streaming makes me want to work on it more. We're getting there. A lot of effects. None of them are that complicated, but you know me. I'm a picky ear. I like our stuff looking good.
I worked a bit on the bats today.
Oh yeah, there are bats in this movie, folks.
Oh yeah, spoiler. I think I talked about it last stream, but I made a little progress on that. I'll check out the car thing. If I am able to like shoot exteriors of the car using this toy, whatever. I think I have some green I can throw behind it.
I mean, you're not going to make it move. You're just going to mask it out manually anyway.
I think it'll be you'd be able to tell it was a toy, but basically the question is, does that add to the movie? If it's kind of a I feel like you're trying to zucker this up a bit more, and I'm trying to like keep it like as like prestigious looking as possible. No, you are doing it. I'm just trying to think like there's no good way we can like have the car move or shoot it from underneath.
Yeah.
I'm
just glad the green screen looks as clean as it does. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty amazed.
I'm always
we didn't have enough screen, we didn't have enough lights, but we did it.
People want. I actually have, thanks to our great friend Corey Tilton. He took a ton of behind the scenes footage and photos of us working on this.
Oh.
This doesn't look that complicated from this angle, but here I am in my gym clothes, walking you guys through a shot.
Before anyone asks, we shot this like during a low point in the pandemic.
Not
like last week or whatever.
It's like $1,000 worth of lights, by the way.
Can't believe we spent all that money on this movie.
We've used it for other stuff.
I know. I'm joking. Cool. Look at us.
I know. I'm so glad Corey shot this stuff.
This is Kevin's garage.
The Tamron. Look at how technical my lighting job is. Literally just save it. We owe Corey bad. I'm so glad to have this behind the scenes stuff. We never get stuff like this.
You shot a music video for him.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I never get to get like all like the candid like this doesn't make like I never get to like have it on record how much work I'm putting in because I don't act in this one at all. I don't really like acting that much. And we talk about this a lot, but I'd much rather make you guys look good.
It's sad because I think you might be like the best actor out of the three of us. Not that that's saying a lot, but like, look at us.
My friend Steve told me that once, and like, I didn't know how to respond to it. He's like, I think you're like the best one. And like, I'm clearly not the funniest of the three of us. I'm more meat and potatoes. I'm the Dan Aykroyd. I don't think Dan Aykroyd would take offense to that. Dan, you're just not as funny as your friends, but I'm a comedian. Well, all right, whatever. Let's actually stop. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm totally going to listen to this whole stream again as a podcast, and I'm going to hate the fact I talked so much over it. I need to let you do more of the talking. Maybe we should do a spoof movie podcast. I think that'd be a fun topic.
Sure.
We talk a lot about movies, but yeah, I don't know. This week, I'll render out how far I've come with the effects and show it to you, Neil. Then you and Ryan can weigh in on how it's looking.
Nice. All right. Good night, Kevin.
Smell you later, folks.